Good evening, welcome to Lockdown Workshop. Yeah, we're in a bit of a mess again, so I'll have a little tidy up before we get started. Going to finish off this one tonight. All the bits have arrived, so we'll look in the goodies box. There's all sorts of crap in here. There's bits of motorhome in there. There's some Velcro tie backs. There's some liquid thread lock. There's some rad valves. These aren't for the bike, by the way. There's a load of stuff that's been congregating on the office window that should have come down here months ago. Tube of silicone lube. More bits of that. Some rollers for the shower doors that need to be fixed but don't need to live on my windowsill. Some things that came off a motorbike I bought that had some hydraulic graphics and they were all over it. Little skull bolts. A strap for a cadence sensor, plastic clip tie backs, push clips for a access panel at the motorhome, more skulls, more clips, tie backs for mud guards for road bikes, an arm off a pair of glasses, no idea what that's doing in there, and finally, when we get to the bottom, some stickers for the toolbox. Always got to put your stickers on your toolbox. And the bearings. And the brake pads. Look at that genuine article. Conscious that that probably didn't come out very well because you were that close to it. So let's go and stick you back over here. Keep forgetting we don't have that autofocus on. And let's get... Right, let's put you where I can see you. I'm going to try a different technique with this now. I'm going to try and keep it so it's got quite a wide angle shot. And then I'll use the big thing to shrink everything down if we need to. So I'll try and place you where the sun isn't going to get you. Let me move Tango out of the way. We're going to spend all night tripping over all of these. It's all going to end in tears. Don't like leaning my bikes over things. Don't like leaning other people's bikes over things. Right. Let's have a look at that, just check. That's okay, we did them last time. That's okay, we did that one last time. So, order of the day. We need to rebuild the bottom bracket. So, actually, I need to just check you can see this. Right in you. I've got you far enough away, so you've got wide angle and all that. Right, so there are the pedals. That's that. I think these have had a clean off. Oh, they might not have had. They need a trip to the. No, we'll do them in a minute. Great page, we'll do them in a minute. Right, let's put this back together. So, if you remember last time, don't put me holding up there because you can't see it. If you remember last time, We cleaned all this out. I got all the muck off it, sanded it down, and because I'm lazy, I dipped it in resin paint, and you can see it's got a nice finish on that. I'll try not to hold it up to the lens because you can't see. It's a little bit drippy around there, but that's on the inside. This effectively doesn't do anything. It's just a spacer. So that sits like that. It sits just over that, so I will have to crush it in there when I've forced them in. The bearing sits inside there. That snugs up to the back of the bearing, and then the other bearing sits on the outside of that, and you drive it in there and it snugs up to the back of that. So we have some new bearings. These are nice, posh, proper bike ones from a proper bike shop. Said yesterday 163110 RS. Stainless steel bearings, though the other ones were supposed to be stainless steel, but I think they were heavily Chinesium. Yeah. Stainless steel shouldn't be magnetic, really high quality stainless. They're not that magnetic. It's not like if you look at them, they're actually quite hard to pull off. And they're stainless. I think they're chromed, are they stainless? They're sticking harder anyway. Yeah, that's not stainless, that's steel, and that's really sticking to it. But anyway, right. So we're going to put this back together. So this bearing needs to go in there first, and that should just slide in. They're generally quite a loose fit. What we will do though is we will liberally smear around a bit of copper grease. You could use normal grease for this. I'm only putting copper in because I'm going to do it for the next bit anyway. But there are two different types of metal here, so it's probably not a bad idea. If they were tight in the shell in there, I would be saying put. So you can see that's hard up against it. And then that needs to go in there. I don't think it matters which end goes in where, to be honest. I'll just pop this out. I could use a tool to drive these in, but to be honest, this is just as good. Just going to chip the paint a little bit, but it'll drive it in straight. So that's now nicely pinned in there. What we will need to do is drop that in now though, so I've just got to make sure that these are the right way round before I start, and that they are the same length. I think they are the same length on this one. I don't know, so we're going to have the same problem we had with the other one, because like a muppet I didn't measure it when I took it out. There is a very small ridge on this. Right, so we are at, let's have it in, right, 40. Right, it's about 39 on that one, 38 and a bit on that one, so do you know what, I don't think it matters that much. We'll put the slightly longer one on the other side. Yeah, we'll put the slightly longer one going through onto this side. It has got further to go. Oil or grease? Let's put grease on it. Depends how tight it is on the bearing. I want to try and shove these in without pressing them, because otherwise I've got to put something down there to press it, which means I've got to find a tube. So I have to find a tube. And it's a tube that will go over that, put that over that. And let's see if this will do it. No. Needs to be a bit smaller. Nope. Yeah, what's that? Oh, perfect. So you always find something. So I've got to put something that sits on that ridge there, so I can drive this down onto there and push that bearing onto the shoulder back there, because otherwise if I try and push it on there, it'll be pushing against the bearings on the race, and that will damage them, but I don't think that's going to be big enough, so I'm going to have to use the tapper on this one. Wind it back again. I'm in there because I'm sick of them being all over the place. You could just use a piece of copper pipe for this. You're listening for a change in noise. I've got to do it on there instead of damaging my work surface. There you go, that's the change in noise. Oh, lovely and smooth. So that needs to go over there. We'll lube it this time. Watch this one just go straight on. Nearly there. Check that one's not moved. A little bit of play there, which isn't ideal, but that's okay. So it's back together again. That'll pin into the other one, that'll hold that steady anyway. And having a little bit of float doesn't matter, but that's spot on that. So that can go back in the bike. Right, so we've already got the other cartridge in the other side, so I'm just going to wang a bit of grease in that just to make it, I'll put a bit of lube on it so it just makes it nice for it to run into. You can't see that running lube over it. So that's just a bit of lube on there, just to help that slide into the bearing on the other side. And put some copper slip on there to stop it seizing. I remember the other day, they do actually call this anti-seize grease, I think, in America. We used to call it Molly Slip because that was the brand name, but it's copper grease, if you like, copper slip. So make sure that's nicely into the threads, and that'll stop the aluminium from rotting into it. I think it's called galvanic interference. What it effectively does is you've got two dissimilar metals, and it creates an electrical circuit, and they start to react. Now then, so this is left, right, so it goes in the opposite way around, in theory. I think it does. Hold on. Left, right, so this is a left-hand thread here. If I can get it to bite. Yeah, I think that's going now. So as before, try and get it in as far as you can with your fingers. I've cleaned the threads out a bit. I've not cleaned them out much actually in the frame itself, but I'm kind of hoping that most of the bitey grippy stuff was actually in the bits of aluminium that's a bit ripped off and was stuck in the frame. That's nearly all the way in, finger tight that. That's fine. Just need to nip that up now. There's the big one gone. Might use the rattle gun on it. Don't actually need to be done up that tight because they ain't going to come undone, to be honest. Perfect, and all that play's gone now. So that is as slick as anything. All I've got to do is check that this fits nicely still. We've not got any issues there, which we shouldn't have. That's okay. Let's check this side. Mountain bikes are slightly different. They don't have the same, just always the same distance, but this one does anyway. So that's about the same. That's okay. just give them a quick clean off in the parts washer, just to get that crap off them, and then we'll stick them back on. I can't describe to you how bad this smells. Because it's an organic based cleaner, sorry, noise, because it's an organic based cleaner, it's actually going mouldy, and mixed with the oil is adding to it, so you can see there's like a scum on the top, that's like mould. I've had to pull the filter up because the mould's blocking the filter. Not a good smell, it needs emptying. That smells out of sight. Just give this a quick wipe off. Boom. You can't see any of this because you're all looking in the wrong direction. Oh, that's a bit better. It's got all the crusty stuff off anyway. That's ready to go back on. So I think we're almost ready for reassembly. Let's put these tools back. One thing I do want to do is I do want to give that a quick whiz over with something. It does look a bit grim. Is this the right stuff? Yes. Just checking it wasn't brake cleaner. Right. I'm not going to put this in there because I don't want to flood the bearing out. So I'm not taking it off. So I just want a bit of stink box again. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I just want to give this a quick clean over. Oops, you can't see that. Look where you're going. Right, so just put a bit of engine gunk on here and just give it a quick clean off. Just get some of the chunky bits off. I'm not going to run it through the parts washer because I don't really want to take it off. If you keep taking these off, eventually you knacker the threads on that bit there, that nut, because it has to be torqued quite high. It's a very fine thread and it goes into a very thin piece of metal, so sometimes you're better off just giving it a quick waz off, and then I will blow it off with some compressed air. A bit better. The compressor. Before you all start getting angsty with me, I have just squirted a load of brake cleaner over the disc now to clean all the oil and everything I've just sprayed all over it. I think it was pretty yucky anyway. Oh, I'm going to get shouted out. I've got oil on my trousers. Oh no! Right. Boom. Greasy weasy. Red grease time. And the same for the other side. So I think we discussed this last time with the old square taper ones. If anybody starts saying, yeah, put grease on them, yes you do, because more often than not they'll actually come supplied with grease within the square section thing and on the crank arm itself, and in that bearing surface in there too, that the tension bolt drives down onto. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because you're pulling it and you want it as tight as possible and you want it to slide up the shaft as far as possible. If it snags and you hit torque and then it moves afterwards, then you lose your torque and they're more likely to wriggle free. So all those people that are telling me I'm doing it wrong are probably the same ones that have wonky shafts, because if you ride them loose, it doesn't do them any good at all. Right. Sorry about the noise. Oh, not. So, as with the last one we did of these, it's 40 Newton meters, which is the same as 4 kilogram meters, because the Newton is just times by gravity, which for this case is about 10. That's tight. But we're definitely on the right way. That's flipping tight. Sure, this is easier when you do it with the pedal on. Oh. Oh, God. I've run out of strength. Finally. Oh. They ain't coming off. Oh, look at that. That's like butter. Well, we might just stick the pedals on. I know you've all been waiting for this. It should say left on it somewhere, or it might have a dot on it. Left, right, right hand thread. All right. So there should be a right hand thread on this side. And if I'm right, I don't know what size bolt that one is. Should be a 6. Yeah, it should be a 6. That doesn't go there, that doesn't go there. Oh, socket down this. Nope, size up. Which is 8, which is the one I've just used. So why didn't that just fit? Why didn't that just fit? It's odd. Oh, ducks. Actually, before we go any further, let me stick some copper slip on this. The same reason as last time. Different nipples and all that. I seem to remember we had a bit of a challenge getting one of these in last time. Yeah, that thread's a bit graunchy. Let me work at that a bit. Better off to sort it out now and get the grease properly bedded into it and force it in. Yeah, that's still tight. Right, they're nice. Oh, look at that. Where's my copper slip gone? You're recording, aren't you? I did press go on that. Yeah, we're all red. We're all green. Red for go. Green for go. Oh, it's been one of those days today. Been one of those days where I wish that I didn't have to work and I could just do this for a living. But unfortunately, I'm not musty one. Or Junkyard Digs or whoever else. And just some daft Yorkshire bloke in a shed, taking bites to pieces. There we go. It's like flipping new now. Look at that. It's amazing what a new pair of shoes does for it. Right, let us stick the chain back on. And wind that back up there. There we go. Right, I need my gauge. Where's my gauge? Can't find my gauge. Ah, found it. Gauge. Pardon me. Stand in front of you. If I can remember which way round this goes, I think it goes this way round. God, we did a very good job cleaning that bit, did we? Let's shove that bit in there. And put that across there. Now that's the gag. I've been looking at these for years and thought, do you know what? They'd be nice that. Now I've got one. When I remember to use it and remember that I've got one, it's actually quite a handy little tool. Right, where's my box? Broken the box already, so that one lasted about as long as any of the others have. Oh look, the wheel's fallen out of it as well. So this was a quality piece of Chinesium that I bought, and is actually shitter than all the other ones I had, which unfortunately I threw them out. No, we didn't throw them out. There's still one under here. So at least this one's in some working order. Sort of. This is the one that's glued together. And it's absolutely minging in there. We'll get some of it in there. Oh, you missed all that. Not a lot of it went in. I think that goes on that way. Yeah. So the new one I bought lasted all of about 3 minutes. This one goes either way round. So that goes in there like that. That goes on there like that. That snaps that up. And then we get out a good whirl all over. Right. And then I'll put that on here, and within 3 minutes I'll have knocked it over, and it'll be all over the place, because that's generally the way it goes. I've got mucky handprints all over his new pedals. Right, let's give this a quick wipe off now. We'll clean them out while we're at it. Enough crud should have got on there. The good thing about this is I'm gonna worry about my fingers getting stuck in the spokes while I'm trying to do this. They are a bit scabby actually. I didn't realise they were that bad. They didn't look that bad when I looked at them yesterday. Do this one now. You can probably see more than I can. There's half a tree stuck in that one. The other thing is as well, I'm not getting them stuck in that gear up there. Go forwards this time. Get the nails in and really chisel it off. They are pretty. Ouch! Wanted that bit. Right. Not that bad now. Right, let's give the chain a quick wipe down. And we will stick a bit of lube on it. See, the other good thing about this is you can put the lube on here, and it catches it on the foam roller that's in there, and then disperses it better. Oh, look at that! Perfect. Right. That's the really scabby one. That's the one I need for this. Just wipe off the excess. Use your dirty rag. Right, that's all the really mucky stuff out of the way now. So. get most of my mucky paw prints off there. Right, what next? Wheels. Let's get the gauge off. Thank you, gauge. In the drawer for you. Park wheel. Just testing. This, of course, is easier done with it on the floor. And we are in. I'll just loose hold it and then I'll drop it onto the floor and make sure it's where it's supposed to be. Same with this front one. Watch the glory of this front wheel. Skewer going in. Do need to smother this with a bit of grease. Let's copper slip it. And then I want a good shot of red grease down this bit as well. So it looks like we did something. That'll do it. So that'll grease up the actual clutch. It's like a finger thing. That gets pressed down and they disappear out of the way. So as you shove it through, it moves them out of the way. And then when you come around the other side, as soon as you pull it back, the fingers lock out again. Come on, in you go. Put that straight through. Off you go. The fingers have popped out there. So now when I pull this back, or I wing it round and pull it back, that will lock into place. And that's good. Very clever system, completely overcomplicated and bloody expensive to replace. And also when you think about it, not the most ideal thing where something's going to get covered in muck and everything. So it's one of those things, on paper, look like a good idea. In practice, absolutely shocking. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm mopping up the gunk that I spilled all over and using it to clean my hands a bit. What we got down here? Brake cleaner. Best thing I ever did was buy a jumbo size tub of that. Not too bad, this front one actually. Must be the inside that's worse anyway. Bit mucky. Right. We can record it. Yeah, we are. Right, down we go. So let's reseat this back wheel. There you go, see how far off that was. Right, so we'll just give the gears a quick go through and check everything's still happy and that we haven't inadvertently moved the crank across by a couple of millimetres because it was in the wrong place. That's okay. It's a bit jerky, but we've got 3 on the tree with that one. Right. Let's do these brake pads and then that's it. We are actually done. So I'll spin that round there and then you can see what I'm up to, hopefully. One set of brake pads. I'm missing something. There we go. know what I'm doing with this. It's much easier to do it with the key. Is that 5? That looks like a 5. Much easier. It is if you pick up a 5 instead of a 6. My eyes tonight. That's a 5. I know that's a 5 because it's a 5. It's because I've been working on BMXs. I can put my eyes askew. You don't have to do it this way. You could try and feed them in without the wheel on, but I just find it's easier to do it this way. So take that out of the way. It is quite possible that one of these screws could be longer than the other, so don't get them mixed up. More possible on the back wheel, I think, but I have had them. Actually, no, it's got a retainer on it, so that's okay. I don't know what's happened to the retainer off that one, so we'll shove that in there so we don't lose it. It's probably disintegrated, they do after a while. Just check the cups are good, where they're supposed to be. Yep. Doesn't look too bad in there. I did clean them out yesterday. So, a bit disappointed actually when you buy the genuine Tektro ones, which, let's face it, they are the Vauxhall Conference of brake pads, but they are bucket pads, and you can see that they are good quality. They are better than the eBay Chinesian ones, which is why at the price I went for them. Here's another controversial thing: bit of molly slip on the back. There's a lot of people say you shouldn't do that, but it does stop them from squealing. Or if they do squeal, you don't hear it as much. But what you've got to make sure you do is you don't get it on the front. Which is why I tried to get as much grease off my hands over there as possible before I started doing this. Right, so these need to get inserted in there, which is going to be obviously be as awkward as possible. More fingers out of the way. That's it, that looks about right. Should be that, and where's that gone? Got some new stuff over there, we'll use that. We'll use the new one since we appear to have lost the old one. Where I've lost the old one, it was in there. It's on the side of the what's there? Yeah, that's still going strong. Right, so I'll just put a dab of liquid thread lock on there. That's it. That's all it needs. A tiny little dollop. And a little okay, I think it's this one, might be wrong, since my eyes appear to be all over the place. No, we got that one right today. Yeah, so it's a good idea to liquid thread like these because there's no retainer on the back of them. Some of them have a little C-clip, but even the C-clips have a habit of coming undone. You don't want to over torque it because you don't want to stretch it out, so a little bit of blue thread lock. Not red, definitely not red, but blue thread lock. Don't drop them because they go all over the place. So hopefully this will fit over there. If not, we might have to put a spreader on it. Now we're going to need a spreader. So it just needs the pistons pushing back in a little bit. I thought they were back as far as they were, but so you just use a brake pad saver, get it in between, just shove it in and it'll squeeze them back out of the way. And these are roughly the thickness of the thing. The idea is when you're travelling with your bike without the wheel in, you put them in there. So in theory that should fit over now, he says. Just have to wiggle it a little bit. Come on. strong bite. And again with liquid thread lock, just want a little drop on there. I'm in two minds whether if there's some already on, it will reseal it, but it's not as good as putting some fresh on. So I've got it, so we might as well put it on. If you don't have any, it's your own risk. This bike's it does look like it's pretty worn out, so. Oh, they're grinding nicely. I'm hoping they'll settle down a bit in a minute. Slacken off, so just nip them up, slacken back. Yeah, they will settle down a bit, he says. And it will go. Ah. Yeah, they're shifted already. That noise was the brake hose running against the spokes. Right, they're actually not bad. So, Exhibit A from something I bought for the van, but I've just realised that it's probably going to be useful for in here. If I can remember the way I put it. I'll chuck it over here. Ah, yes. Shorter ones. So I bought these for the van for hanging things up. But there are times when you need to fasten your brake cables back quite hard as well. So what we can do is slacken that off. Slacken that off. And then do them up a little bit at a time on each of them, because if you try and do them up too quick, twisting that will actually spin that or push it out of the way, and then it'll all end up in tears. These have got them horrible flipping cups on. I don't know why they have them on, because you don't actually need them with these. You don't always have them on the backs either. So I don't know why they think you need them on the fronts. We might end up doing this a few times. They're pretty good actually, I'll take that. No idea what you've turned off for there. I hope I've just recorded that last 10 minutes of that. I put the pads in, and I put a copper slip on the back of them. This is just in case it didn't record. And I put some liquid thread lock on, and I've lost my Allen key. It's the same thing as before. You might be able to see better this time. We do them up till they just touch, back them off. Do them up till they just touch, back them off. Give the back brake a bit of a pump. So that's the front brake. Give the back brake a bit of a pump. Like I say, I'm thinking I wound them right out, so they should have had to go in. So make sure the pads are all the way back down to their normal position. Oh, that's nice and bitey now. Oh, he's going to be happy with them. Right, same thing again. I'm going to strap up the bar. Can you see what I'm up to? Strap up the grip. Pull that right the way back as far as you can get it. That's actually gone quite a long way. Let me take it out so you can see what I've done. So I've used that Velcro strap in case you couldn't see it. Sit your bum in. And let's hope that this works as well as the last one. So just nip them up a bit at a time. You can torque these 5 or 6, but yes, I did put some liquid thread lock on the bolts. There we go. Take that off. Right, I'm not happy with that one. So slacken that one off again. Not happy with that one. Give it a quick jiggle around. And what I'll do is I'll just make sure it's, I'll try and give it a hand. Right, that's it. What you can do is hold it and centre it so it's pulling evenly before you lock it off, and that way you know. That's funny. What a funny little bell. Well, that's a lot tighter already, that. Yeah, I think there might have been a bit of play still in the piston. So let's have a go at that one again. So what I've done is I've tried to get it as near centred, so when I'm pulling it I can see it's not moving it in my hands, and then hold it there as I keep hold of the brake lever and then put the strap on, and hopefully I won't have let any pressure off the strap and it's moved. So the front one that should have been harder actually went on straight away, but that's the way it is. And the thing is, every time you take the wheel off, especially with these quick release ones on the back, you might have to do this again. So I know it's nice to have them little toolkits with all thingies, but always have a 5mm socket with you, because you never know. That's a lot better. That's even now. Yeah, I can see it's not moving. So I could see the brake pads were pressing unevenly, and they were pushing the brake disc across. They'll bed in, no time at all. Right, I think that's almost a wrap. So let's give the bike a quick once over. Check we've remembered to do everything. So brakes are done. That's now fixed. Pedals are done. Cleaned it, even though I don't clean them. Cleaned and lubed the chain, cleaned the back thing, put the brake discs on. Just check that and make sure that giving that a good service again. Don't need to do a head axis or seal bearing. Fixed that and completely rebuilt it again. I think we ought to just put that up as a separate video for that. Nothing to do with the gears. Gears are all spot on, to be honest. So that's another one done. So hope that video was useful to somebody. If you like what we're doing, hit like and subscribe. If you don't like what we're doing, still hit like and subscribe, because then you can just keep coming on and moaning about the videos. Anything you want to see on here, just put some comments down below, in that bit down there. And if you've got anything you want me to have a look at, send it my way. I don't charge for this. I just charge people for the cost of the parts, and maybe some liquid refreshment comes with that. And I get content for the site, which is always a good laugh. He does need to buy some tyres. And I'm not entirely sure that tie's on the right way around either. I've not noticed that before. I know it is on the right way around. It's just that it's worn down. The front's worn down on it. Back's worn down. So he does need some new tyres. I will tell him about that. But Chain probably got about another 6 to 12 months in it, so that's still good. He does use it a lot, and it was a good 2 years, nearly 2 years since I last did this. So it's holding up pretty well. I like this bike. This is a bit like the Planet X cross country that comes in. I like it because it's been ridden and it's been abused, and it just keeps on going. There's no reason to get rid of this bike. It's absolutely spot on. It's actually got some decent bits on it. I've just spotted that we're missing a dust cap as well, so we'll dig him out a dust cap. Anyway, right, we're waffling now. As I said, hope the video's been useful to somebody. Hope you've learned something, especially about rebuilding bottom brackets, because you can do all of them like that, even the fancy sealed ones. All you need to do is know the bearing size, and it's fairly easy to do it yourself. Just don't press on your balls. If you press on your balls, it's not good. That's the general rule for life. Other than that, like and subscribe down there. And there's loads of other videos on the site, loads of stuff like this. It's all as appalling as this and badly shot and me waffling on, but I don't care. Anyway, job's a good one. See you later. Bye.